Hey guys, Josh here. Welcome to the R-Rated Show, and I hope you guys are all doing well. And I haven't done a review in a while. It's been a little bit, so I decided to watch some new stuff on Netflix and get caught up on some things I haven't talked about before. And one thing that I've really slept on, which I'm ashamed to say, is 2013's Hannibal, which is starring Mads Mikkelsen, Hugh Dancy, Lawrence Fishburne, and Gillian Anderson. I was like, I cannot believe I've slept on this show for 7 years. And I finally watched the first two seasons, and so I want to talk about season one. So without further ado, let's get started. So, as I said, the show goes all the way back to 2013. It stars Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal, Hugh Dancy as Will Graham, Lawrence Fishburne as the FBI head honcho Jack Crowley, and Gillian Anderson, who has a smaller sort of walk-in role, like a diminished role in the first season, but it does grow as the seasons go on. So I think it's worth mentioning because she's, everybody knows Gillian Anderson. She's fantastic in the show. But so basically, the show is really interesting. Now, the first time I tried to watch the first episode, I didn't quite get it. And I kept hearing so many great things about the show. And I was like, I think I really need to, dig my teeth into this. So I wasn't really captured initially, but I don't think I don't think I really understood what the approach of the show was, because it comes off as sort of like just a police procedural show where Hannibal's crimes are sort of integrated into that. And it's so much more than just that, though. So the show is essentially about an FBI consultant by the name of Will Graham. The show really centers a lot around him, even though Hannibal is sort of the star of the show. But Hugh Dancy's portrayal of this sort of damaged FBI consultant is very important to the show. So it's really much centered around him. It's a lot. He's kind of like the Clarice Starling of this TV series, meaning he's the portal in which we enter into the show, the everyman that we sort of relate to. But he's not anything from ordinary. Like Graham's character is very he's like a criminal psychology professor, and which is his normal side. But the special thing about him is that he has this ability to empathize with serial killers, or just killers as a whole, who commit these like heinous crimes. So even though he wasn't able to be accepted into the FBI, he is a consultant, and so Lawrence Fishburne's character Jack brings him in to sort of snoop around the crime scenes of these horrifically gory murder scenes, and he has the ability to sort of empathize with himself in the shoes of the killer. So what happens is he's able to, in his mind, imagine and put himself into the psychology of the killer, and so it's really interesting. Because it really takes a toll on him, and he begins to lose sort of a bit of himself in the psychology of the killer, which is really interesting. It's an interesting scenario for the writing, and they do a great job. The writers of the show do a really good job, and the acting is pretty good. There's some weaknesses in there. I'll talk about that in a minute, but the central characters of the show do a fantastic job. But so Will's character has a very taxing sort of job in terms of understanding the mind of these killers, and he's already this sort of fragile human being. So in order to find balance there, he's recommended to go to a psychiatrist by the name of Hannibal Lecter. And I just have to say that Mads Mikkelsen's portrayal of Hannibal in this series is like unbelievably fantastic. Like, he carries the whole show. Now, even though Will Graham's character by Hugh Dancy is sort of like the portal in which we go in, and the everyman, there's a lot of the stories in every episode are kind of around his sort of perception of things. Mads Mikkelsen is definitely the star of the show, and when he embraces portraying a Hannibal, like, he just has the character worked out fantastic. Like, he's just bone-chillingly good. So he really shines in the TV series. It's just haunting, really. It's hard to binge the show. I really only can do like 3 episodes because it's like disturbing, like you can't take too much in one sitting. I think I do like 3 episodes and then I'm like, I need a break. But that's not because the show isn't good. So every episode is a new murder, and sometimes the murder is unrelated to the relationship that Will and Hannibal have, and sometimes it's directly related to. But there is like an overarch story that carries through all 13, 14, 15 episodes. So I can't remember exactly how many. I think it's 13. But they're all interconnected, and each episode really fleshes out the main characters of the show, and it's really good. Season 1 was riveting. I really enjoyed it. Season 2, I feel like, took it to a whole nother level, but it definitely, the show keeps you guessing. Some of the weaker points was some of the supporting casts really felt token and sort of like you'd find on any other sort of like CSI show, but it doesn't really necessarily hurt the show because they're so marginalized in terms of their screen time. It's really just story building elements and science and things like that, to keep the story moving along. But this is really the trio is Will, Lawrence Fishburne's character Jack, and then Hannibal, and some of a little bit of this character Alana, who is like another psychiatrist who is sort of like a love interest there. So that adds another element to it. But how can I sum up the show? Basically, it's just creepy as hell. It's very gory. If you are a horror fan and likes gore and likes to see something unique done in that sort of area, it's definitely not a slasher. It's slow-moving drama. It's creepy. It's creative. Some of the scenes are very graphic, so that there is a level of like disturbing content in it, and it's really interesting to see how the writers address the relationship between Will Graham and Hannibal, and as we get to see more of Hannibal show himself and bond with Will and find a compatible friendship with Will, it's really interesting. And of course, we have scenes with Hannibal eating people, and it's not really on the nose the way they present it, because he makes a lot of these like really sort of exotic high culinary meals. It's like his thing, and so you never really know what's in the dish, but it definitely oftentimes alludes to that it's somebody, and sometimes it definitely shows like he's got a kidney frozen in his freezer or something. So I mean, he's a cannibal, so there's people there. But the way they present it is in a very delicate way, and it just integrates with Hannibal's character really well. And like I said, Mads Mikkelsen, it just knocks it out of the park. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend Hannibal. I'm probably like one of the only people that hasn't seen it at this point because it's been out for 7 years. But I don't know why. I just never got around to it, and I'm almost done with it. And I just enjoyed it so much. So definitely check it out. Great acting, great writing, great storylines. They do the thing where they change it up every episode, but they have an overarching story, so it carries through as a cohesive season. And I think the gem of the show is probably seeing the characters grow together and seeing how they play off each other and how the tables turn on them constantly. And it's a very highbrow show. Like the character of Hannibal Lecter is a very intelligent, highbrow, high society type person, and it's very well written. I mean, there's some really interesting metaphors and insightfulness into the characters of the show. So can't recommend it enough. Check out season 1 of Hannibal on Netflix, or buy it off Amazon and own it. I might even actually order these on Blu-ray because it's that good. But that's it, guys, and I'll be back real soon with a season 2 review. And it feels good to be back. I'll be doing a lot more content for you. And as always, guys, stay awesome, stay R-rated. Cheers. Hey, what's up everyone? Josh here. Just want to say thanks so much for listening to the show. We really do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button. And go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. We'd love to have you on board. Lots of great content coming in 2020. And we just really enjoy the community over here and enjoying pop culture together. So if you get a chance, hit subscribe. Really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, stay awesome, stay R-rated. Cheers.